Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. My name is Linda and I am the scrapbooking photographer. If this is your first time on my channel today, thank you so much for dropping by. I really appreciate you here. If you've been before and you have subscribed, thank you very much. I really do appreciate your support. Today I am taking part in a video hop on YouTube for Mixed Media Mayhem. Now, as some of you may know, I'm kind of getting to grips with mixed media, and this is the first time I believe that I've taken part in this hop, but I've been watching for a while, and the sketch this month that we were to follow just blew me away, and I hope I can do credit to it. So this is the sketch that we're following for this month's hop, and it's a Vicki Boutin designed sketch. And I just love the colours and the flowers and the big lettering and everything about it. So here I have an array of things that I've chosen to do this sketch with. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to have in the background, so I'm going to do things a little bit out of order. The photos I'm working with are from my mother's 80th birthday. I'll trim them down and put them on the paper, but the thing that attracted me for the sketch was all the stripes in this balloon that she's got and her bright pink badge that I believe says birthday girl. So this is her sister, and unfortunately I'm just probably going to trim her off because we can't really see her anyway. And this is my brother, it's my other brother, and that's me. So we'll probably end up with two squarish photos, I would say. So these colours here kind of reminded me of a set of papers that Close to My Heart had some time ago, which were called Cake Day. And they had pages like this, papers like that, and then on the other side, various different things. Now, one of the zip strips, which I have already cut off, is this lovely strip of lots of different colours. So, going back to the sketch, the first thing I'm going to do is coordinate those papers to make this tower here. Now, when I'm finished what I'm doing on the white daisy, I'm going to back it. Now, I'm not sure if I'm going to back it with black or with the wildberry yet. Wildberry was the colour of the year a couple of years ago, so I haven't got a lot of that paper left, but it does go with Cake Day. So it's all using up my stash today, which is fantastic. So the first thing I'm going to do is build this tower. So this design has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 colours, and they've kind of repeated different ones along the way. But what I thought I would do is start dark at the bottom and have dark patterned and then gradually getting lighter using the colours. Basically the colours in here as a guide, but I'm leaving that green apple colour out. So the first thing I'm going to do is trim 1/2 inch off 2 of these sides to give us the right size that we're going to be making the tower to. So I'll move all of that and bring in the trimmer and just cutting 1/2 inch. Half an inch there. So cutting 1/2 inch off 2 sides will give me 1/4 inch frame all the way around, and that makes this 11.5 by 11.5. So the next thing I'm going to do is work out roughly how far I want the tower to come in. So the tower is going to be framed with this. So if I make a tower that's 4.5 wide and 11.5 long, then we'll be getting somewhere with that piece. Okay, starting with wildberry. Let's make it 2 inches. I'll just speed the rest of this video up as I put this page together and tell you what I'm doing along the way. So at the moment, as you've seen, I am trimming these pieces of paper to 4.5 inches by 2 inches, and just making that tower with a plain piece followed by a pattern piece that coordinates with that colour. And I'm trying to make it go from light to dark, from dark to light on the way up that tower. So the beauty of these papers is that they're pretty on both sides, so I get 2 pieces out of each piece of card. Once they're all cut, I can bring them back to the piece of white daisy and just line them up along the side and shuffle them around a little bit so that I get an idea of how far apart they need to be. Now, I did try them in various different configurations, but in the end I decided just to put a strip of double-sided tape along the bottom of each piece and attach it at the top, and then what I'm going to do is trim it so that it fits the 11.5 inches that we've got on the white daisy. So I felt that the wild berry at the bottom is a little bit much because it's quite a strong colour, so I cut the majority off there, and then just a tiny bit off the top before putting it in, and then it's going to look quite good with that zip strip. So this bit over here is where we're going to have our mixed media. So mixed media, I'm going to use the wild berry just for some accents. I'm going to use the glacier as a bit of a base and mix with the periwinkle and the Sundance. I'll just take my pencil, and we don't really need to come past this part there, so I'll just use this as a bit of a ruler, bit of a guide, because that will go over the top of it and cover that pencil mark. So we'll put that to one side, and we'll take the mat away and get on with the inking. I quite like the effect that sponging has, and I think it kind of reflects what's in the sketch a little bit. So I've just got this round sponge, and I've already used half it for something else, so I'm going to use the other half for these colours. Now, I did keep pieces with the colours on, but I seem to have lost that habit, unfortunately. So I'll just use the glacier first, and actually, yeah, see how we go. Okay, so that's one way of doing it. Another way is to squeeze a little bit of water onto the ink on the lid of the ink pad, and then I'm just going to dab into that, and that's going to go a little quicker. So dabbing through with the glacier, and when I'm finished with that, I'll clean the lid and then do the same with the Sundance. So I haven't cleaned my brush in between those two because I don't mind if the colours blend a little bit. And then just sponge around and a little bit up the top, which is going to come up above the photos as well. And cleaning the lid of the ink pad out with the sponge completely before I close it, so that the water we've dripped in doesn't affect the ink pad itself. And so then with my blending brush, I'm just going around the outside very faintly with some ballerina, which is a very light pink, just to soften it. And then with the wild berry, I've done the same thing and wet a little bit on the lid of the ink pad, and then used my brush just to dab it around and drip it. And I do make sure I wipe that with a paper towel to make sure that the water doesn't contaminate what's in the ink pad. Then I can put in the tower and the zip strip, and it's starting to look a little bit like how I imagined. So the photos end up being trimmed to 4.5 by 4. So I couldn't quite get them to 4 by 4 without taking out some information I didn't want to take out. So they're not quite square. And then one of them's got a little piece of roof on it in one corner, which I wanted to cover. So this is the way I ended up positioning them. And then to mount them, it's either going to be in wildberry or black, and in the end I decide black, and they're going to go just there. Now the sketch has a little bit of pink behind, or a little bit of highlight, I should say, behind one of the photos on the right. So I'm going to add a little bit of the present paper, and that will just tie it into the bottom left as well. So popping that in there, I'm not sticking anything down yet. These flowers have been in my stash for years, and I mean probably 15 years. But some of them, funnily enough, blend really well with the current glacier colour. So I'm just scattering them around to see how it's going to look with a combination of the black and white ones and a few glacier ones as well. And this is not how they're going to end up in the end, but it gives us a bit of an idea, and it just kind of made me think of where things might go. So I had a little bit of a play. And then I also want to fit the big black words in there too. So I realise at one point that I've put the flowers in too many places down the bottom. And the word I've got in there is lovely, and this comes from the die cuts out of the current special for Dream Maker. It's the Dream Maker die cut set. Lovely black words, and there's also a little one that says day, which I'll add later. Moving the flowers out of the way, I can then put these big black letters down here and make sure that they all fit across the page. And move everything up just slightly so that I can fit the word day in under lovely. So when I come to stick it all down, I'll put day in first, and then using my T-square, just line it up along the bottom of the word lovely so I can adhere those letters in a nice straight line. I'm really liking the boldness that the black brings out against what we've done in the background, and so once the letters are down, I can then stick the pictures down, and again with the black mount around them, it just makes them pop out from the background. And I will also add on that little piece of pink accent behind that one on the right. Now the sketch also has a little piece of a tag behind that one, and I've got some left over from the cardstock special that Close to My Heart ran a month or so ago, which came in these colours. So I'll add a little tab up there, and I'll also use some of the flowers from those die cut sets as well. The Dream Maker die cut set also has these beautiful fine black leaves, so I'll pop them out and place them underneath the flowers. So that'll add just another dimension and help with the layering. And I'll just scatter them around. I think there's about 3 of them, which is always a good number. So I'll just place them at the 3 different parts on the page, and then start to audition the floral parts again with a variety of black and white, white and black, and some of the glacier coloured ones. So I don't think I'm going to use as many as I did in my original kind of tryout with them, but tucking some underneath the photos and putting others on top and just mixing them up gives it that lovely floral effect. I have some black and white pearl dots which I'll be able to add at the end, and they will just serve really well as centerpieces for these flowers. So I'll pop them all in around and then stick them down. I've also got some little flowers that will pop out of the die cut cardstock sets that I was talking about earlier. So there's some in the glacier colour and also in the Sundance colour. So I'll just pop the little ones around, not necessarily joined, just perhaps to accent the colours that are behind them. And then I'll go ahead and put those centerpieces into the other flowers. Thank you for watching today. I really hope you're enjoying what you're seeing. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, if you are happy to, that would be much appreciated. In the description box, there's a list of everybody else who's taking part in this hop, and I can guarantee there'll be some great interpretations of this sketch if you follow all those links and watch the different presentations. There'll be lots of inspiration from all the other creatives. So now that I've got those little flowers all attached, the next thing is to add the little centerpieces to these flowers. And then after that, I need to add a little journaling strip underneath the word lovely. So I do that with a pre-cut journaling strip, which I have just lightly coloured with a blending brush. I can't remember what colour I used for that because it was done for another project and put back in the bag, so it came in handy for this one. And I've also got a couple of wildberry gems that I've been able to put onto each end of those and dotted around the place. Now just before I finish, I need to frame the whole page with that 1/4 inch frame that we talked about at the beginning. So I was tossing up between the wildberry and black, but in the end I decided to go with the black because it just made everything pop, along with the black mounting to the photos and those lovely big words. So that's my page for Mixed Media Mayhem this month, my first contribution to this hop. I hope you've enjoyed it. Thanks very much for watching. Enjoy everybody else's, and I'll pop some close-ups up of this one at the end. Happy crafting, everybody.